I started using when I was 15 and in an abusive relationship. I was with him for 7 years. I left the relationship and the abuse, but stuck with the drugs. I had been using heroin for 9 years and crack. All I could think about was more drugs. The lows were unmanageable. So I would go out and beg and get more money, and because I was young and I was a female, I could get lots of money. It was a constant cycle. Me and my partner ended up in a B&B, where there was drugs all around me being used or sold. There was no escape. The day I fell pregnant was the day I stopped using crack. When I fell pregnant, I immediately thought about a termination. I just knew I couldn't do it. I felt panic and happiness, but the happiness faded when I thought about how I was going to do this and how I would support a baby. But when I was told that I could not have my child, that changed things. We both knew I was pregnant immediately. Alec was so pleased, and I felt like I just didn't have a choice because he wouldn't consider an abortion. I texted my mum, and I hadn't spoken to her for 2 years. She didn't want to get involved at the time because it would be too hurtful for her to lose a grandchild. I felt so alone. I got lots of different advice and I didn't know what to do. I knew it was going to be so difficult to imagine what would happen. Looking back, I wondered if I was trying to sabotage a pregnancy by continuing to use, so I wouldn't have to face the decision to have my child taken away from me. The first agency I encountered told me I would not be able to keep my baby. Every time I would leave that office, I would go home in tears. They were professionals, so they knew what was going to happen. It made me so angry I felt no one knew me or gave me a chance. I was a person and I felt really small. They made me believe I couldn't do it. They weren't suggesting that things could be different. They never told me that things would change. It was inevitable. I was a drug user, so I couldn't cope with being a mum. And the drugs were the one thing in my life that was reliable. I was getting so many mixed messages about what would happen, so the drugs were always there, no matter what. I then met with Prepare and things changed. I got a social worker who really worked with me. My baby was put in a child protection register. That was devastating, although I knew it would happen. It had been explained to me. On my 28-week scan, I stopped using drugs. My mum came with me. I could see my baby, and it was real. I needed to sort myself out. Alex stopped using 2 days after me. And once I was clean, I was surprised at how easy it was. I was told about family group decision making and agreed to give it a go because I would do whatever it took. I met Julie, who told me about the service. I thought this was going to be a good idea to involve both mine and Alex's family. I knew I would need support around us. We had a meeting and it was the first time our families had ever met. They instantly connected. The focus was about the baby. I was anxious about how things would go. I had no idea how they would be in a meeting with social work. I knew my mum and knew how she would be, and I worried about us being blamed. I wanted everyone to realise that we would need help. We met in a nice wee room. It was quiet and felt safe. It made such a difference. There was food and there was coffee. It felt it was much more our meeting, although the social worker was there. We could take breaks, it was informal, and we were all involved. We talked a lot and talked openly. We weren't being told what to do. We felt like we were coming up with a plan, our plan. It made me feel like a person. In other meetings you come out feeling really low because you've been told what to do, because you've had people talking about you and not to you. We came out of the family meeting feeling so much better that we had a good plan that we could take to the next case conference, and that made me feel really confident. Social work were really happy that we came up with a plan and that put our baby right at the centre. We agreed that we could live with my mum after our baby was born to make sure that she was safe and that we were coping, and we knew our baby wasn't going to be taken away from us if we stuck to the plan that we created. Having this family meeting meant that the social worker could see our families and see the support that was around us. What made a difference was how I was treated by the professionals around me. I felt listened to. I felt trusted so I could be honest. My social worker was always realistic with me. She was clear about the risks, but also about the possibilities. Relationships with the professionals around me were so important. And I believe that if I had had workers who did not work with me in the way they did, I would have possibly lost my baby because I would have felt hopeless. I would have kept using. If she had been taken away from me, I know I would have gone back to using. I would have struggled with contact. I could never have coped seeing her and managing my drug use. This would have meant I would never have managed rehabilitation. Now looking back at how I was, I can't believe that was me. I have been clean for 2 years. I have my baby, my partner. Social work closed the case when Bella was 4 months old. I started university this year to study social work, and I am working with the council as a mentor and a volunteer. I want people to know that they can't make assumptions about all drug users. We all have potential and we all can be capable. We don't want to be told that we will lose our baby because we will believe you. I want professionals to remember drug users come from families too. I want people to see what I have done and know that they can do it as well.